Konnichiwa minasan, Japanese Zulu boy no Takeo desu. Kyou wa Nihongo to bunpou wo benkyou shimasu. Tatoeba to ga wa no etc. Sa hajimemashou ka. Hey everybody, this is Wandiletakeozwane, also known as Takeo, and this is my YouTube channel where I focus solely on self-studying the Japanese language and uploading my weekly progress with you guys and sharing some helpful tips and what I've found hard about learning the Japanese language. So if you're a new viewer, I'd suggest you watch my previous videos, and if you're a returning viewer, I'd like to say thank you very much for subscribing and watching my videos. So today, as you can see from the title, we'll be learning Japanese grammar, well, the basics into Japanese grammar, and we'll be mainly focusing on the particle wa. So the basic sentence construction you actually learn for the Japanese language, it involves the wa particle. And as you can see, the wa particle is written as the character for ha, but it's actually pronounced as wa when it's used as a particle. So the basic construction is x wa, y this. Wa in this context literally means as for or speaking of, and desu basically means to be or it is. So x wa, y this would literally mean speaking of x, it is y. For example, I am wandile. I would say watashi wa wandile desu. Speaking of myself, I am wandile. Yeah, something like that. And then you could already start making up sentences. For example, if you think of, let me think of a One Piece character again. If you think of Nami and you'd like to say she's cute, the Japanese word for cute is Kawaii. And sometimes people even like make a mistake with the word Kawaii and say Kawaii, and Kawaii means something else. It means scary. So to say that Nami is cute, you'd say Nami-san wa kawaii desu, and that would mean Nami is cute. But if you were to say Nami-san wa kawaii desu, it would mean that she is scary. So an example where you could actually use the word kawaii would be to say like this movie is scary, and you'd say kono eiga wa kawaii. So yeah, kono eiga wa kawaii. This movie is scary. Now moving on, what I'd like to say is that like in the Japanese language, Japanese speakers have a tendency to actually omit subjects when it seems clear as to what we're actually talking about. So for example, I could say Nihongo desu. And Nihongo, as you've seen from my previous video, actually means Japanese language, and desu, you know that it means to be or it is, and that's what we include in every sentence. It just means it is the Japanese language. So without context, you have no clue what we're talking about. But to explicitly make it clear as to what we're talking about, you'd say Senmon wa Nihongo desu. My major is the Japanese language. But let's say you asked me that, so there's no need for me to actually say my major again if you'd already asked me what my major is. Hence, I'd only say Nihongo desu. So to say that I'm South African in Japanese and using the construct x wa y desu, I'd say that watashi wa minami Africa jin desu. Speaking of myself, I am South African. So minami means south, and jin is actually the kanji for person. So there's actually two ways to read kanji. There's the kunyomi, which is the Japanese way of reading it, and onyomi, which is the Chinese way of reading it. Now for onyomi, it would be jin, and that would be the kanji for person. But in Japanese, you'd read it as hito, and that would be how you'd pronounce the kanji character for person. Now, continuing into question sentences, because with the particle wa, you can use it in a statement and you can also use it in a question. Now, with questions in the Japanese language, it's relatively easy to make questions. All you have to do is add the word ka at the end of your sentence, and it automatically becomes a question. And you'd add desu, and it automatically becomes a statement. So, for example, ryugakusei desu. Rigakse means international student. Desu means to be. That's one sentence, and it just means I'm an international student. Rigakse this. So to make this sentence or statement to become a question, you just have to add the ka after the desu. Then it becomes rigakse desu ka? And that would automatically be a question asking, are you an international student? And then of course you'd respond hi or iye, because with this question in particular, it's just a straight up yes or no question. There's a lot of other ways to ask questions in the Japanese language. So for example, you could either use words like nan or nani. Nan means what, nani means what is it. You also have nanji, and ji means time. So nanji, what time is it? Nansai means how old. Sai means yes old. Nan means what. So nansai means how old. And what else do you have? You have nanense, and nanense I think means what year of college you're in, something along those lines. So to make an example of this, you could say ima nanji desu ka? What time is it now? Then I would respond to that question and say ima kuji han desu. So that would mean right now it's 9:30. So you could either say PM or AM. So it would be either gogo or gozen, whichever one you'd like to use. And then let me see. Yeah, that's basically some of the ways you could actually use these words. So you could even ask a person like, how old are you? So you'd put their name and then followed by wa. And yeah, so for example, if you ask me how old I am, you'd probably say Takeo wa nansai desu ka? So speaking of Takeo, speaking of yourself, how old are you? Then I respond to you by saying ore wa 20 sai desu. So with the word ore, it's mostly used by guys, but in formal speech. So if it was formal, I'd probably just stick to watashi. But if it's just me talking with my friends, I'd say ore, or I wouldn't even say it at all. I'll just omit it completely and just say 20 sai desu. And yeah, that's all that I've learned this week regarding the wa particle, and that was part 1 for Japanese grammar. And next week we'll be tackling the no particle. And so if you've liked this video, I suggest that you like, share with your friends, click the subscribe button, and I'll see y'all next week. Ja, mata ne!